Welcome to the Ministry of Fukyu, where fairy tales get incinerated and failed ideologies get drop-kicked into a pit of flaming receipts. If you're still clinging to Karl Marx like he's some kind of revolutionary savior, brace yourself. This isn't a history lesson. This is a demolition. Karl Marx was a deadbeat, not a prophet. Let's start with the godfather of the scam, Karl Marx himself. The man who supposedly saw the future of labor couldn't even hold down a job. He mooched off his buddy Friedrich Engels like a broke roommate who never paid rent. While preaching about the working class, Marx never actually joined it. He never worked in a factory, never earned wages, never picked up a damn shovel, but he sure was confident about how labor should work, while living off family money and bailouts from Engels. And let's not ignore the kicker. Marx let at least one of his kids starve to death. But sure, tell me more about your roadmap to Utopia, written by a guy who thought child support was optional. A math problem for morons. Marxist economics is the intellectual equivalent of a get-rich-quick scheme, except nobody gets rich and everyone starves. His labor theory of value, basically the idea that something is worth whatever labor you put into it, is so dumb it makes flat earthers look nuanced. If I spend 6 months knitting a sweater out of spider webs, is it worth $1 million? No? Then your theory is trash. Marx completely ignored supply and demand because he was allergic to reality. He also insisted profit was theft, as if removing the motive to innovate and compete would somehow produce a utopia instead of collapse. This is economic theory for people who think vibes are currency. It's a Ponzi scheme where the last one holding the hammer gets the gulag. Workers of the world got screwed. Marx promised liberation. What the world got was gulags, forced famines, and industrialized terror. In Soviet Russia, workers weren't liberated, they were worked to death building statues of the guy who oppressed them. Lenin shot striking workers. Stalin starved millions in Ukraine. Mao had kids rat out their parents, and then sent those same kids to go die shoveling in rice fields. Cuba locked up dissidents in work camps. Marxism doesn't free the worker, it enslaves them to the state. You think it's different now? You think your protest sign is going to save you from the next glorious revolution? Go ask history how that turned out for people like you. Anarchists, minorities, gays? Into the gulag, comrade. Here's the real comedy. The modern left embraces Marxism while waving rainbow flags and screaming about inclusion. You know what Marxist regimes did to anarchists? They shot them. What did they do to gay people? Prison, conversion torture, and public shaming. What about artists and free thinkers? Censored, imprisoned, or executed. It's like dressing up in a Nazi uniform to honor Jewish history. You're not edgy. You're just historically illiterate. Marxism is a boot. It doesn't care what flag you wave or who you sleep with. It just wants your face under that boot. Cosplaying the resistance while parroting the ideology that crushed the last resistance is peak clown world. Modern leftists, cosplaying Utopia with an iPhone and a trust fund. You ever notice how the loudest Marxists are always tweeting from an iPhone while sipping $6 oat milk lattes? They romanticize revolution while living in air-conditioned apartments paid for by daddy's capital gains. They think socialism means free college, free rent, and free therapy, but none of them wants to be the ditch digger making it possible. They scream abolish landlords from property their parents own. They'd be the first ones up against the wall in any actual Marxist regime, right after the poets, priests, and professors. Because in real socialism, the revolution doesn't protect you, it eats you. So dumb it makes MAGA look smart. And look, we've dragged MAGA up and down the street already. But Marxism manages to be just as delusional, with less self-awareness and more soy. Both movements are driven by savior complexes and mythologized leaders. Both sell the fantasy of glorious rebirth through authoritarian force. MAGA says, trust the strong man and punch down. Marxists say, trust the party and punch yourself in the face until utopia arrives. It's two sides of the same dumbass coin, one in a red hat, the other in Che Guevara cosplay. If you think this time will be different, congratulations. You've officially out-stupided the MAGA base. That's a hell of a bar to limbo under. Marxism's greatest contribution? Body counts. And let's not forget the grand finale, the blood-soaked legacy. Soviet Russia, 20 million dead. Mao's China, over 45 million starved or executed. Cambodia's killing fields, 2 million wiped out. North Korea, a living mausoleum. Every Marxist regime ends the same way. Censorship, gulags, secret police, starvation, and a massive graveyard. This isn't some fluke. It's the blueprint. You think you're building justice? You're recycling genocide. If Marxism is the answer, what the hell was the question? Because the only thing it solved is how to kill hope faster than capitalism can charge rent. If you made it this far, smash that like, drop a comment so we can urinate on your broken utopia in real time, and hit subscribe. Or don't. It's a free country. For now. But keep voting for this bullshit and see how long that lasts. Fuck you out.